With only 8 more games to go here in the regular season, Hyannis and Falmouth look to cement their positioning here in Hyannis. Only a couple more home games left here at McKeon Park as we welcome you into the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. The third place Hyannis Harbrucks at 17-19, taking on the first place Falmouth Commodores, who sit at 23-13, 46 points ahead of Hyannis. Hyannis still tied for third place with the Bourne Braves, who sit at 16-18-2, but only a couple games out of the Wareham Gaiman, who are at 19-14-3 and 41 points out. Jack Heffer, Gabe Sussick here at Judy Walton Scarafile Field here in Hyannis, and the Harbrucks have only beaten the Falmouth Commodores once this season, and that was back here at home, and it was a while ago. It was a 6-3 win for them, but they will face Brady Puckett for the second time in All-Star, but they send out Justin Lewis, who will be in his second start here for Hyannis. As his first start, he went 4 1/3 innings pitched, only allowed 4 hits, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts, no earned runs for the Kentucky Wildcat. But he steps up here against a hot Commodore team, as since July 3rd, when they're lost to Katuitt, they are 13-3, and they've outscored opponents 88-46, averaging 6.8 runs per game, and have only allowed 3.5 to the opposing team, as their pitching staff has been the backbone for this team, and their hitting has come around as well in the final games here. Lewis stands on the mound. Michael Gigliotti, another all-star for the Commodores, steps in the left-handed batter's box. And the first pitch, and we're underway. And that one is called for a strike to Gigliotti.
And yeah, the only thing that you mentioned with Lewis is he had a great first start here on Cape Cod, but every single inning his velocity went down 2 or 3 notches.
Hits on the outer corner and an 0-2 count to Gigliotti. Behind Gigliotti will be Deacon Leput, J.J. Matajevic, Josh Watson. That one is popped up into the air, foul. Willie Berger, Tristan Gray, Matt Deuce, Tyler Holton, the DH, and Caden Grenier in the 9 spot for the Falmouth Commodores. And defensively for Hyannis, Chris Hudgens will be behind home plate. Busby at third, Proctor at short, Rutherford at second, Cody Henry at first. Another 0-2 count for Lewis. He kicks and deals, and he misses outside. Rogers in left, Habercorn in center field, and Brett Netzer in right. So Trey Truitt with the night off here for Hyannis.
And I also think that's because Habercorn's big game against Bourne in those 2 at-bats.
That one misses upstairs, and it'll be a 2-2 count to Gigliotti.
And, you know, Truitt really hasn't been hitting as much as of late. So throw Habercorn in, who had 2 really nice hits against the Bourne Braves.
Swing and a miss by Michael Gigliotti, and Justin Lewis gets his first strikeout here of the day. Justin Lewis coming in for Hyannis, total record of a 5.51 ERA, 16 1/3 innings pitched, 15 hits, 10 earned, 8 walks, and 20 strikeouts as he misses down low. Lewis kicks and delivers and hits the upper corner by the shoulder of Leput for strike 1. It is also Christmas in July here at McKeon Park. As that one hits for a strike for Lewis, and he gets to a 1-2 count. Santa was out there in his nice Hawaiian North Pole shirt. Some shorts as well. 1-2, swing and a miss by Leput. And Justin Lewis has put away the first 2 batters via strikeouts.
And that's what it's going to come down to today, Gabe, is can Justin Lewis hang with Brady Puckett, who pitched really well against Hyannis in their last meeting? And can Hyannis jump out to an early lead?
They will look to do that, as Hyannis coming off that 3-0 shutout of the Chatham Anglers, which means the pitchers will get another opportunity at BP at some point in their last 3 home games, you would believe. 2 outs. Two outs here in the top of the first inning. Lewis Checks on into Hudgens, and here's J.J. Matajevic, left-handed batter's box, missing inside as Lewis for a 2-0 count. Meanwhile, the Falmouth Commodores coming off of a 3-2 win versus the Brewster Whitecaps. The 2-0 fouled away by Matajevic.
And Matajevic has been absolutely tearing it up. He was an all-star on the Cape last year, but he just came up a little bit late because he was in the College World Series with Arizona, hitting .352 in 16 games. He already has 6 doubles and 9 RBIs.
Doing what he did last year up on Cape. 2-1 pitch. He gets a piece of it as it flies into left. Rogers is right there. And a 1-2-3 inning with 2 strikeouts for Justin Lewis as we head to the bottom of the first in a scoreless game at McKeon Park on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the first inning here at McKeon Park. Justin Lewis goes 1-2-3, 2 strikeouts in his first inning. And now Hyannis will face Brady Puckett, an all-star here for the Falmouth Commodores. Also a member of Lipscomb University with 2 teammates on Wareham in Gigliotti and Passantino, who was also 2 all-stars. And both of them teammates here for the Falmouth Commodores. Passantino started the All-Star game, but both of them are spectacular players that have really helped the Commodores this year. First pitch hits to Brett Netzer in the left-handed batter's box. It'll be Netzer, Proctor, Rutherford, Jordan Rogers in the cleanup role, Dylan Busby, Cody Henry, Chris Hudgens, Cameron Estee, the DH, as that one misses outside, and Trey Habercorn in the 9-hole for Hyannis. And defensively for them, the Falmouth Commodores, it's a 1-1 count. Fastball misses upstairs. Matt Deuce will be behind home plate. Willie Berger at third. Caden Grenier at second. Laput at short, Laput at second. Tristan Gray at first, as that one misses inside, and a 3-1 count to Netzer. Josh Watson in left, Gigliotti in center, and J.J. Matajevic out in right field for the Commodores. Puckett kicks and deals. That one is lifted into right center field. Moving over is Gigliotti, and that will hit the top of the fence. Netzer is going to turn from second. He's going to gun it towards third, and he will have a leadoff triple to start things off for Hyannis.
Well, Netzer picks up his second triple of the year, and he just takes the 3-1 pitch from Puckett and smokes it into deep right field. I mean, came close to a home run again. And Puckett has got to be more careful with that. I mean, he can't give up an easy pitch like that to Netzer. Netzer has just been crushing the ball lately.
So now here is Ford Proctor. Leadoff triple by Brett Netzer puts him 90 feet away from the first run scored for Hyannis. But Brady Puckett has played Hyannis before, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 run, 2 strikeouts in an 8-2 win against Hyannis. That was the game, though, with Andrew Gonzalez pitching. Hyannis went down 3-0 in the first inning. Foul tipped by Proctor, and it'll be an 0-2 count. Overall, for Puckett, a 4-0 record, a 1.09 ERA in 6 starts, 33 innings pitched, 21 hits, 8 walks, and 17 strikeouts.
And last pitched in the All-Star game.
0-2, and that nails Ford Proctor, so a little shaky of a start here for the All-Star in Puckett. He puts runners on the corners with no outs in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, Puckett had a good scoreless inning in the 6th for the East for the West against the East. Gave up a hit and struck out a batter. But in his last 5 starts, 4 of them have been wins. And he's only had 6 starts on the Cape. So he has just been racking it up lately. His last 2 starts, no earned runs.
First pitch lifted high up into the air by Rutherford. Gigliotti moving back deep. Netzer will tag up easily from third. A sacrifice flyout for Zach Rutherford, and Hyannis takes a 1-0 lead.
And great work from Rutherford, who had a tough day on Sunday against Chatham. Just couldn't find it after the All-Star game, and just finds a good pitch to pop one up in a deep center field. Gets it deep enough, and he gets the job done.
The All-Star MVP for the West grabs an RBI. Netzer grabs another run. And now here, Puckett will have to go through the All-Star portion of the lineup, followed by Jordan Rogers. He misses outside for ball 1. A 1-0 lead now for Hyannis. Puckett, as Jack was mentioning, only 2 games where he hasn't gone 6 innings pitched. That one is lifted high, still in fair. Gray moving around, and he makes the play in foul territory to put 2 away.
And you mentioned Puckett trying to get through the All-Star portion of this Hyannis lineup. Well, the All-Star portion of the Hyannis lineup has not been hitting well lately. Rogers has been cold. Busby had a good day against Chatham, but before that was hitting .260 in his last 10 games. So trying to heat up as the race for second starts here.
Busby has been heating up. He's on a 6-game hitting streak. He's gone 9 for 24 as he swings and misses there. 4 doubles, 1 home run, 6 runs, and 3 RBIs for the Seminole.
And really that's starting in the last 2 games, one against Bourne and the other.
Pickoff throw over, and they got Ford Proctor sneaking a little too far from first. So Brady Puckett escapes the inning without any more damage done, but a sacrifice flyout from Zach Rutherford scores Brett Netzer, and Hyannis takes a 1-0 lead as we head to the second inning here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the second inning, a 1-0 lead for the Harbrox against the first place Falmouth Commodores. And Justin Lewis back on the mound, 2 strikeouts in his first inning. A 1-2-3 inning. He'll face Josh Watson, Willie Berger, and Tristan Gray for the Commodores. As Lewis will kick and deal the first pitch. Hits in the dirt off speed for ball 1.
Gray, another Falmouth All-Star. Kind of had a... You didn't really think that Tristan Gray was going to make his way in there, but he did. Snuck his way. He's having a relatively good season. He's cooled off a little bit.
I'll put him back over by you.
Hitting .346, 6 doubles and a home run, 10 RBIs.
Yeah, no, that's where
2-0 count as Watson steps out for a moment.
And really his all-star appearance has been because he's been hitting so hot in his last 3 weeks. 15 of 25 of 63. And whoopsies, this is Watson, isn't it? Oops.
3-0 count for Justin Lewis. The pitch hits inside for a strike.
Well, Watson probably could have been an all-star too. Watson has been great. He hit a home run last time against Hyannis.
The 3-1 fouled away by Watson. Full count now here for Justin Lewis. Proctor and Rutherford both standing on the fringes of left and right field. Lewis fires in, and it misses down low in the corner in a leadoff walk for Josh Watson.
Look at that movement on the two-seamer. I mean, it is really floating away from lefties. It's just if Lewis can handle it and put it under control, that is a lethal pitch.
So the first time he will work from the stretch in the game. Now here is Willie Berger. Throw on over. And sliding back safely, though, is Watson.
Berger also had a big home run against Hyannis at Gov Fuller Field.
Lewis fires in and called for strike 1.
Part of that big 4-run 8th inning that the Commodores had to beat Hyannis. And Hyannis, yes, they've only won a game against Falmouth, but they've played them close several times.
That one misses outside for Lewis, and it'll be a 1-1 count.
And that's why you think that even if Hyannis does get the 4 spot, that they could put a good, hard series against the Commodores despite the pitching.
Throw on over. Tag is made just late as they're trying to keep Watson close to first. Big thing for Hyannis, being in that 4th spot. You have to go to Falmouth, and then you would likely either face Puckett or Passantino. You would face both of them at any point in games 1 and 2. That's a tough 2 games. Throw on over, and that time they get Josh Watson for the first out of the inning.
Great move from Lewis. He sets him up via the first one where he goes over, and Watson thinks it's his best move. He gets an inch because he's going to go steal, and Lewis just comes right back at him with an even better one.
So now 2 early pickoff plays here in the game, and he drops one in for a 1-2 count now to Willie Berger.
You talk about Hyannis if they had to go to Falmouth and they got that 4 spot. I mean, we all know that Hyannis has really struggled on the road this season, especially at Falmouth.
Missed upstairs by Lewis, 2 balls and 2 strikes. A 1-2 from Lewis, swing and a miss at the fastball by Berger, and 2 away. And the 3rd strikeout for Justin Lewis.
And again, he goes back to that 2-seamer. Great pitch, dives away from lefties, dives into righties. Here's Tristan Gray.
Stands in the left-handed batter's box. Falmouth, while they're pitching, has been their backbone. Swing and a miss by Gray at the off-speed. They've been a very efficient run-scoring team. Third in runs with 171. As Lewis deals outside, another swing and a miss by Gray. Third in runs, but they have the third least hits on the Cape with 294.
And they're efficient, productive.
0-2, fouled away. They have their third in RBIs, first in walks with 151. So that helps a little bit. You don't need as many hits if you can get all those guys on base. The 0-2 from Justin Lewis. Swing and a miss outside by Gray. Another two-strike inning. Strikeout inning for Justin Lewis, and he goes 1-2-3 with a pickoff throw to first. Here as we head to the bottom of the second in a 1-0 game for Hyannis on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the second inning. And Dylan Busby will get a second shot here at Brady Puckett as Ford Proctor was picked off at first. Steps in here with Hyannis with a 1-0 lead. A sacrifice fly out by Zach Rutherford to score Brett Netzer. First pitch misses down low for Puckett. Netzer with a leadoff triple. 1-0. Hopper, and it just avoids the third base bag. And it'll be a 1-1 count for Busby.
Well, Gabe, we got our first home Hyannis food for thought. We're going to do two. One of them being the icy that is being served here at Judy Scarafile Field. And the other being, what's it called? This little cookie? Any idea?
Unfortunately, there's no name on them. The 1-2 to Busby. Drops in there, called for strike three, and they get the Seminole looking for the first out of the inning.
Well, nonetheless, our kind intern, Will Yates, his parents are here from across the pond out in England, and they brought some treats. So I'm not quite sure what it is. It's like this little cookie with chocolate covering, and there's something in the middle. Not sure what it is.
There is. That one's popped up into the air by Cody Henry. Players moving over it, reaching out and making the grab is Grenier all the way from shortstop, and there's two away.
And Gabe, it's jelly.
That's
what's in
interesting.
the middle. Yeah, it is. It's strange.
That's a hard cookie too, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, it is soft? Oh. They look hard.
but then also the
Good
snow.
that I didn't eat it, because
Yeah.
I would have ate one. I don't like jelly-filled stuff, and I would have made a grave mistake. And it's a great combination you got there. Cookie, chocolate,
cookie.
and then you got an icy.
Red and blue icing.
First pitch, drops in, breaking for Puckett. Strike one here on Chris Hudgens.
Part of the many new activities, I guess, that are here. Juice Carafile Field at the Christmas in July.
That one's fired into center field. Gigliotti over, and he makes the grab in a 1-2-3 inning for Brady Puckett, as we'll get back to the food for thought as we head to the third inning. A 1-0 lead, though, for the Hard Rocks here at McKeon Park on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the third inning, a 1-0 lead for the Hard Rocks as they went 1-2-3 in the bottom of the second. But so far for Falmouth, they have not found a hit yet against Lewis. Only a walk by Watson, but he was picked off over at first, as that one is flied foul by Matt Deuce. So it'll be the bottom three in the lineup: Deuce, Holton, the DH, and Grenier, the shortstop. Off speed, misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 to Deuce, swing and a miss, down low.
And Deuce back in the lineup for only the third time in the last 10 games. Hasn't seen a lot of action.
Tips it into the glove of Hudgens, and another strikeout for Lewis as he is cruising through the first 2 innings.
Well, again, it's that two-seamer. That's been his out pitch. It looks ridiculous right now. You see all the movement from it. Curveball's working nicely as well, but his two-seamer is his out pitch.
So now here is Holton, the DH. We talked to manager Gassman before the game, asked him about what he wanted to see, what Korn wanted to see from Lewis. And they said, I just wanted to see him go a little bit further into a game. He went 4 1/3 last time, see he can go further, give the bullpen a little bit more of a break. As that one is foul, tipped by Holton and an 0-2 count. He gives his bullpen a break, and hopefully for Lewis and the rest of the team, the offense can get going. Puts a little bit against Puckett, and they find a way to get a win in the remaining 8 games that they have. The 0-2 pitch, and checked outside by Holton. He backs off of it, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, you could be looking at a potential Game 2 starter in Justin Lewis in the playoffs with the way that he's been pitching, especially.
Drops in there for a called strike. Holton knew it and did not take the bat off of his shoulders. And another strikeout in the inning for Lewis. He's now had 2 strikeouts in all 3 innings that he has pitched so far.
Yeah, and again, I mean, Falmouth just can't seem to battle this two-seamer, and it comes in multiple arm slots and multiple speeds. I mean, it ranges from 86 to 91, and he can do a lot with it. I mean, you've seen the tight two-seam fastball that hasn't moved much, and then you've seen the looping one that kind of looks like a slider.
Off-speed pitch drops in for Lewis, and it'll be a 1-1 count to Grenier in the 9-hole. Next pitch is hit right up to Lewis. It passes him, goes over to Rutherford, throws to first, and they get another 1-2-3 inning for the Kentucky Wildcat as he continues to cruise into the bottom of the third inning with his team leading 1-0 at McKeon Park on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and mobile application development online at curry.edu.
Bottom of the third inning, 1-0 lead for Hyannis. Cameron Estee, Trey Habercorn, and then back to the top of the lineup in Brett Netzer. Estee, the home run hitting champion from the All-Star game in Chatham, Massachusetts, takes the first pitch inside by the hands for strike one from Puckett, as he seems to have calmed down a little bit since that leadoff triple and run scored. And he misses outside for ball one to Estee.
And Estee back in the lineup after a big double against Chatham that brought home a run.
Foul tips that one right past the first base bag, and it'll be a 1-2 count to Estee.
One of the couple of hits that Hyannis picked up. One of the only hits that brought home a run.
Gets that one, a short roller over to Puckett. He sidearms it over to first, and just in time to get Estee for the first out.
Yeah, pretty nonchalant there from Brady Puckett. He's got a good arm. Just kind of lollygags off the mound and fires one to first.
Stands at 6'9", 225 pounds. And now he will face Trey Habercorn in the left-handed batter's box. He gets a short dribbler as well. Puckett bends over, tosses it over to first base and to Gray, and they put two away quickly.
Yeah, just Estee and Habercorn both getting jammed, getting on top of the ball there.
So now Brett Netzer steps back in for his second at-bat. His first one helped produce the only run that Hyannis has so far, a leadoff triple.
And, you see Puckett makes one mistake. Hyannis takes advantage of it in Brett Netzer, and that's the difference so far is that one pitch that Netzer smoked into right.
First pitch drops in for a strike. You can see kind of what Gassman is trying to do here against Puckett as he deals a 0-1 count to Netzer and hits for a strike. Trying to play the matchup role. Final two guys in the lineup, Estee and Habercorn lefties. First two guys in the lineup, Netzer and Proctor lefties. So he's trying to play the end and the top against Puckett and has not worked too that far. But that one is lifted as well into right center field. Gigliotti moving back, hopping up and lands into the fence with the grab. He robs Brett Netzer of another long shot and ends the inning, a 1-2-3 inning for Brady Puckett as he slowly walks to the dugout. But Hyannis still a 1-0 lead heading into the fourth inning on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the fourth inning. And after Hyannis going down 1-2-3, Michael Gigliotti, after making a stellar catch in center field to rob Brett Netzer of extra bases.
And they always say that the man who makes the incredible catch, the incredible play to end the inning, gets up is the first batter of the next inning. Always seems to happen that way in baseball.
First pitch misses outside for Lewis. Lewis stares on in again and deals a foul tip as Gigliotti tried to go around, but he gets locked up. It does trickle foul and be a 1-1 count. Gigliotti, we mentioned an all-star, and is high up on a lot of Cape League boards. Fifth in walks with 17. Sixth in doubles with 8. Second in runs with 25. Third in on-base percentage at .409. Looks at the off-speed pitch, which just misses inside on the outer half for Lewis. It'll be a 2-1 count. High on the board he probably would not like to see himself on. Ninth in strikeouts with 28. He gets one right back into the glove of Justin Lewis. And that, a dangerous play, but the Wildcat makes it look easy, and he puts one away on his own.
Returns the favor. Gigliotti robs one of his guys from a hit. Well, he's going to rob Gigliotti from a hit. Boy.
That was impressive. That's always a scary spot when you hit a liner right back to the pitcher. Lewis gets his glove there. Bunt shown by Leput, and he takes it away, though, and it'll be called for ball one. The next pitch is drilled foul over the fence, and it'll be called strike on Leput. Lewis will kick and deal. He shows bunt. It trickles, though, down the first base line, and he will step in with a 1-2 count.
Yeah, he showed bunt in that first pitch. Trying to go Cody Henry's way. Busby was crept in the entire time.
The 1-2 from Lewis. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Justin Lewis, and there's two away.
I mean, with this stuff, I know Gonzalez had a great outing on Sunday. But with this stuff right here, Lewis could be the number one guy they go to in the playoffs.
He's making a statement right now. And now he'll face, though, one of the top hitters for Falmouth, J.J. Matajevic. Flew out into left in his first at-bat. Matajevic, 12 of his last 22. Hits on an upper corner for Lewis.
You know, the only problem is Lewis, is he going to make another start next week?
The 0-1, swing and a miss, and an 0-2 count. 8 games left. I would think
I mean, yeah.
it would be tough to pay on if they want to use him. Like, if they're locked into the playoffs, do they want to just save him for the playoff start?
And they are. I mean, granted, they're gonna grab a playoff position.
0-2 misses upstairs. And I'm just saying as a precautionary, but I'm thinking depending on when that start would come for him.
Well, that's the biggest issue because you're not going to start him Saturday.
That one's popped up into the air foul over the Hyannis dugout.
If you start him Saturday, then you could get him for the next Saturday, which would be Game 2 of the playoffs on August 6th.
That's my biggest thing is I think I want to give him – I wouldn't want to start him on short rest.
Only 3 days.
The 1-2 to Matajevic. He just gets the edge of the bat on it to stay alive.
Well, Tuesday to Saturday. So if you were gonna have Lewis start, it would preferably be on maybe Monday or Tuesday. But if you do it Tuesday of next week, which is a week from today, then you give him 3 days off to pitch in that second game. Don't really give him his arm a break.
The 1-2 misses upstairs. That's my only thing. I think how the schedule shows he should have another opportunity to start.
Well,
but the question is, will he?
The biggest problem is that down the stretch, it's 6 straight games.
Yeah.
which usually you see during the week into the weekend. But this is Friday to Wednesday.
That one's popped into the air over Hudgens' head and out of play.
This 6-game stretch is a Friday to a Wednesday instead of, a Thursday to a Monday or a Tuesday. So it kind of throws off the whole pitching staff because you have 2 games sandwiched between 2 off days and then 6 straight.
2-2 is a short knock over to Henry. He picks it up and will play it himself. And another 1-2-3 inning for Justin Lewis. As we head to the bottom of the 4th inning, a 1-0 lead for Hyannis on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 4th inning. Still a 1-run game in favor of Hyannis. It'll be Ford Proctor, Zach Rutherford, and Jordan Rogers. Puckett has started to cruise a little bit into this game. Fouled away, first pitch by Proctor to the Falmouth dugout.
He's retired 6 straight. Dating back to the 1st inning, he's retired 9 straight, really. 2 1-2-3 innings. Lewis has mowed down all hitters tonight.
1-1 swing and a miss by Proctor.
But even after the walk, he picked off the runner, much like Puckett did with Proctor after he hit him. Those have been the only 2 base runners, as Netzer with the triple and Proctor with the hit by pitch.
Foul tipped by Proctor to stay alive with a 1-2 count. The biggest thing, I think, for Puckett so far is that while he has sat down guys, he has had misses on his pitches a lot of times where he's missed in spots where you've seen him hit before in the previous game. As that one misses down low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And even though he's been getting those outs, Hyannis has made contact off most of his pitches. The 2-2 to Proctor. Outside, full count.
Yeah, but a lot of them have been easy outs. Besides the play from Gigliotti, every other out has just been pretty routine for this Falmouth Commodores team.
Fouled upstairs by Proctor. It goes out of play.
The one thing is, Hyannis, they're subject to flying out a lot. We've seen already 4 different flyouts. 2 really light grounders right back to the pitcher.
Another payoff pitch, and Proctor fouls it off once again to stay alive.
That's also kind of what you get with Brady Puckett. Very good pitcher out of Lincecum.
Puckett kicks and delivers. Slow dribbler over to Grenier. Scoops and throws, and one is away. So now Zach Rutherford steps in to sacrifice fly out to center. scored the first run and the only run of the game for either team. It's the first pitch from Puckett inside at the knees of Rutherford. 1-0 is lifted deep into left field. Watson moving back at the warning track, and he makes the grab for the second out.
And that one looked good off the bat. You thought that was going to have a little bit more carry in it.
Not a lot of wind here at McKeon Park this evening.
It looked like it was a surefire thing off the bat. Unlucky for Rogers. He really put a number on it. Rutherford, excuse me.
That one is a chopper past the third base, foul by Rogers.
There's Rogers.
The 0-1, another chopper, same direction, a little bit closer to third base, but an 0-2 count for the Volunteer.
Rogers has been heating up a little bit lately. 5 of his last 18 with 3 runs, a home run, and 3 RBIs.
The swing and a miss there, and another 1-2-3 inning for Puckett, and he still holds Hyannis to a 1-0 lead, headed to the 5th inning on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 5th inning. Hyannis holding on to that 1-0 lead off the back of Justin Lewis. Going into his 5th inning now. 7 strikeouts for Lewis. He'll face Josh Watson, Willie Berger, and Tristan Gray. Center of this Commodore lineup. First pitch, fouled by Watson, stays in place at home for strike 1. Watson is the only Commodore to reach base with a walk in the 2nd inning, but was eventually picked off by Lewis. 0-1, and that one drops in nicely for an 0-2 count to Watson. Lewis stares on in from his blue glove. Kicks and delivers outside for ball 1. The 1-2. Grounder, and that escapes into the gap into right field. The first hit for Falmouth in a big turn and almost tripping over. They throw to first. But Watson gets back safely as he almost fell on his feet turning from first.
Yeah, good work from Watson. Worked the count against Lewis and then just found that fastball on the outside half. Pulled it in the hole between Rutherford and Henry. Now the tying run aboard for the first time tonight.
So now
Second time tonight in Watson.
Willie Berger fans at a pitch down low. Reach base both times now in his at-bats. Looking to have a more successful stay at first. Throw on over, though, but this time he stands up. Looks like he learned from the past in Lewis and may not take as large of a lead. The 0-1 misses down low this time, and 1-1 strike to Berger.
And interesting how Berger, who is has one of the lower averages on the road, is followed up by Tristan Gray, who has the best average for Falmouth when hitting on the road.
Throw on over, and this time Watson slides in.
Berger, a 207 average when he's hitting away from Gov Fuller Field. Only has 12 hits and 58 at-bats.
Misses inside. Hudgens pushes Watson back to first. 2 balls in, 1 strike. Falmouth, while we mentioned that they are third in runs, many of those runs are spread out throughout their games that they played. As that one misses down low. Hudgens pops up quickly, keeps it in front of him, and keeps Watson away. As 18 of their games played have been decided by 3 runs or less. And
It's pitching, I mean, right there. It speaks volumes about how good your pitching is and how your offense is just kind of doing what they need to do.
so their pitching has always kept them in games, and they have clearly found ways to win those games. Throw over once again, as they like to keep Watson close. Over there to first, but along with their runs being spread out in games, their runs are very spread out on the team as well. 2-1, short chopper over. Busby gloves over to second, throw to first, and they turn the double play to put 2 away against the Commodores.
Great work from Lewis. He's pitching a Berger low the entire time. And Busby ranges over into the hole, makes a good throw to Rutherford, and then easy, getting Berger at first.
So Berger grounds out into a 5-6-3. Or 5-4-3, actually. That was Rutherford moving over there from second. That one, fastball, misses outside, and a 1-0 count to Gray. Lewis misses upstairs. 2 balls and no strikes.
Take a look really quickly at the scoreboard around the league. The Whitecaps beating the hottest team on the Cape and the Wareham Gatemen, who've won 6 straight. They're beating them. Brewster is winning 3-0 in the top of the 7th inning. And Katua's got a 1-0 lead at Lowell Park over the Bourne Braves.
The 2-0 misses down low for Lewis. Those are the 2 games that Hyannis are keeping eyes on, trying to finally take sole possession of third place against the Bourne Braves and trying to stay close to Wareham. 3-0 misses way outside, and a 2-0 walk dealt to Tristan Gray. Hyannis has an opportunity to get a win this evening, and Wareham loss, as Ray Coyne will come out and talk to Lewis. As we mentioned, Wareham at 41 points, Hyannis at 34. So if Hyannis can get a win and Wareham a loss, they will only be 2.5 games back, with the final game to be played against the 2 teams tomorrow at Spillane Field. And 2 games in a row and 2 losses for Wareham puts them right back into contention for second place.
Yeah, and Hyannis, they've historically done pretty well at Spillane Field. I mean, they already have a win there. They also played a really close game in which they ended up losing by a run. But, they can definitely go to Spillane Field and have success tomorrow against Wareham. They just need to get it done here first against a very tough Falmouth Commodores team. Lewis has been motoring the Commodores down, but he's in his longest outing of the season right now. And you don't know what's behind him in the bullpen and if Falmouth is going to all of a sudden turn on the Jets against them.
A walk by Tristan Gray with 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning with Hyannis leading 1-0. Lewis deals the first pitch to Deuce. He lifts that one foul on the third base side for strike 1. There is slight warm-ups, or slight motion, I should say, going on in the Hyannis bullpen. And Lewis kicks and deals, misses way inside for a 1-1 count.
You'd think that this would be Lewis's last inning here in the 5th.
Throw on over, standing up though, is Gray. You see with Lewis, once he has to work from the stretch, he has a shorter kick with his left leg. Does not come up as far as he does when he's not working in the stretch. 1-1 is fouled into the netting, and it'll be a 1-2 count to Matt Deuce. One man on, 2 outs, top of the 5th. Lewis kicks, delivers, and misses just outside, but they're going to make a throw over. Proctor is there, and they get the sliding Gray for the final out of the inning. 2 pickoff throws in the game for Hyannis, and Justin Lewis escapes the danger as his team leading 1-0 still, headed to the bottom of the 5th inning on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa is a perfect blend of fun and excitement. A proud member of leading hotels of the world.
Bottom of the 5th inning. Still a 1-0 lead for Hyannis. Only 1 hit apiece for both teams, as Brady Puckett and Justin Lewis have been mowing guys down. Puckett will face Busby, Henry, and Hudgens in this inning. First pitch misses for ball 1. No one still yet warming up that intensely for Hyannis as Busby gets a short hopper in. Berger's got to make a tough one-handed grab. He can't do it, and Busby reaches base safely.
That's where speed kills.
An infield single for Busby. And I think he can have feelings towards Willie Berger at third, as he's been caught in that position many a times and has been not being able to make the throw to first. Puckett in the stretch once again, throws on over, and he knows the speed of Dylan Busby, so he will try to keep him close. First time he's been in the stretch since the first inning. Henry steps back in the left-handed batter's box. Pitch misses down low. It's kept in front by Deuce, and it'll be a 1-0 count to Henry.
Hendry trying to continue his 3-game double streak. Doubling on his last 3 games. 4 out of his last 5.
Throw over a close one, and just sliding in is Busby. Now that is an interesting streak to keep alive for that long.
Double streak, yeah.
Throwing over again, and they're getting inch by inch closer to Dylan Busby at first. Puckett sets at the belt. Hickson deals and fouled away by Henry. 1-1 count. And seen a couple of guys just simply stretching. So we will likely see Justin Lewis at least start the 6th inning for Hyannis. The 1-1. Grounded over to short. Grenier flips it to second. Throw over to first, and stretching out and making the grab is Gray to put 2 down for Hyannis.
And yeah, Henry almost beat it out to first, but Gray makes a nice play. Long stretch. And great work from Puckett. Induces the ground ball. I mean, it has just been a pitching battle between him and Lewis. And right now, Lewis has been the man who's made less mistakes than Puckett has. That's been the difference maker.
Puckett has really only made 1 mistake, and that was that triple leadoff by Netzer. That one's popped high up in the air into center field. Gigliotti calls everyone off, and he makes the grab to put a 1-2-3 inning on Hyannis as we head to the 6th inning. The Harbhawks still leading 1-0 here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Top of the 6th inning here, Judy Scaravile Field in Hyannis, a 1-0 lead for the Harbhawks over the Commodores as Justin Lewis kicks and deals a fastball that hits on the outside corner to Matt Deuce, the catcher this evening out of Dallas Baptist. It'll be Deuce, Tyler Holton, and then Caden Grenier to round things off for the Commodores. Another strike from Justin Lewis in what has been his longest appearance up here on Cape Cod. He's worked through 5 innings now, working into the 6th. And no one really warming in the Hyannis bullpen as the 0-2 pitch misses outside.
Yeah, they don't seem to have an actual bullpen catcher for them, but they're sending out Ricky Smith, and it looks like Ron Polk is kind of telling the bullpen to hurry it up once Smith gets out there.
As Lewis can't own that one in. As we mentioned, longest outing this year. In his last start against Bourne, went 4 1/3. Gave up 4 hits, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Struck out 5. He's struck out 7 this evening. But you can already see he's starting to slow down. The velocity is going down every inning. Gave up a hit and a walk last inning as the 1-2 pitch misses on the outer half.
And, I mean, look, he's been rolling. And if he finds a way to get through 6 innings, that's great for your bullpen. That's one guy you have to use.
2-2 pitch is a called strike 3 on Matt Deuce. He watches that one go by, strikes out for the second time tonight, and now 8 strikeouts for Justin Lewis.
I mean, you got Matt Naylor and Lucas Gilbreth warming up right now for Hyannis. So, of course, Gassman's going to keep a close eye on what he does in this inning, but all the better for Hyannis, for both Lewis and the bullpen, if he gets through 6.
Tyler Holm watched the first pitch go by for a ball. His whole 0 for 1 today as well. Struck out looking in his last at-bat. This one's popped up, but it works its way foul. And Gabe, the lack of a bullpen catcher might actually be hurting Hyannis right now. I mean, usually Hyannis, they carried 3 catchers on the roster, and one of them would go down and catch in the pen. As Holton swings at this one, pops it up, and will stay in play. Busby calls everyone off. He'll come down with it.
I don't know where my guy Joe is. Catching.
Joe usually does the bullpen catching.
He might have a game for his high school or for his travel team, I think.
High school.
And we got Peter Zyla, though,
Yeah,
catching out there.
I just saw that.
I'm surprised we didn't see Stadjor out there.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Zyla, I know that he used to catch. He would catch a Duke for a little bit. I mean, when they needed him every once in a while. As Caden Grenier steps in, the 9-hitter, curveball misses upstairs.
And part of that might be you might get a little worried that they didn't have anyone out there. I think you could have easily have sent Stadjor out there, though, if they wanted to get it done quickly, though.
Yeah, not sure why Zyla hasn't been out there more often. But he's catching Gilbreth. Naylor warming up with Ricky Smith. As Lewis deals the 1-1, it's ripped by Grenier, foul and right into the glove of Matt Naylor.
But I think this is also Gassman being who he is when it comes to giving trust in his players. He's seen what Justin Lewis has done. He's impressed. He wants to see how far he can go. And he trusts him to get to this 6th inning and get this final out.
The 2-1 pitch, swung on, chopped to third. Busby has got it. The long throw over is in time. Justin Lewis. Another 1-2-3 inning here in the 6th, as he has done that in every single inning pitch that could be his final his final inning pitch for Hyannis in this one. But nonetheless, they lead it 1-0 here at Judy Scarafile Field. And we will head to the bottom of the 6th inning on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. The Kentucky Fight Song blaring over the loudspeakers here at Judy Scarafile Field in honor of what has been probably the best start of the season that we've seen out of a starting pitcher for Hyannis. 6 strong innings from Justin Lewis. He only gave up 1 hit, walked 2 batters. As Brady Puckett has continued to rival Lewis tonight. He faces Cameron Este, the designated hitter. Habercorn in the 9-hole after him, and then it'll be the top of the lineup with Netzer. 3 straight lefties against the righty. As Este fouls that one right back into the screen for an 0-2 count. Puckett has been fantastic. 1 earned run on 2 hits. As the 0-2 curveball is popped up, ranging over is Berger into the Hyannis dugout. And that one will sneak out of play.
But
As
yeah,
Andrew Gonzalez is with that Santa hat doing the 50-50 raffle out there. Christmas in July here at Judy Scarafile Field.
I would think the only pitching performance that would rival it is Charlie Barnes against Harwich.
The 0-2, big swing and a miss from Este. First out of the inning here in the 6th.
Where he basically did the same thing that Lewis did here. A tight game for Hyannis that they scored later in that game instead of early, but Barnes basically put the team on his back and held them through that entire game, then gave it to the bullpen. Hyannis ended up winning it late. And Lewis does it here, this time with Hyannis having the lead. It's just unfortunate that his team could not give him a couple more runs in this game.
Abercorn watch the curveball on the outside corner for strike one. I would say that Lewis has looked more dominant than Barnes did against Harwich hitters.
I would agree.
And Falmouth is a lot better of a lineup than Harwich.
I would 100% agree. I think Lewis is much better with his pitches. You saw Barnes a lot of times made a lot of contact off of guys, which hurt him.
1-1. Abercorn broken. Bat chopper up the middle. Renier throws over for the second out of the inning. That one almost hit Tristan Gray at first.
Yeah, that bat flew. And Abercorn with the speed almost made it to first, too, to pick it back up. But I think that's the biggest thing for Lewis. I think he was really on today. Had all of his pitches working for him. That two-seamer curve slider, we're really not sure exactly what it is because it comes in so many different angles.
It's a two-seam fastball. He must be mixing it up with a changeup. And he does throw a curveball, but he didn't throw too much tonight. As Netzer smokes the first pitch, just foul first base side.
But, he showed it today. There was always the conversation of who's going to step up when it comes to the pitching staff, and you can say Lewis has done that, being called up to be a starter.
And Lewis also rivals Puckett in height. You talk about
Only
starting
misses him by a
pitchers.
couple of inches.
Yeah. One hopper to Berger at third. The throw over to first. Another 1-2-3 inning for Brady Puckett. 6'9", standing at 6'9", 225, and Lewis at 6'6", 3 inches, and Lewis is a big boy, but Puckett, he might be the tallest man on the Cape this season. Nonetheless, a 1-0 lead for Hyannis. We head to the 7th inning of play here on Christmas in July at Judy Scarafile Field. We'll be back in just a moment. Top of the 7th inning, and you guessed it, Justin Lewis still on the mound for Hyannis. He has been stellar so far, and I'd imagine that he'll be on a short lease as Naylor is warming in the pen. Longest outing for Justin Lewis, and probably for a Hyannis pitcher, a starting pitcher. Gonzalez and Gavin both have gone 6 1/3. Those have been the longest outings by any starter. And now Lewis trying to rival it here as he steps in against Michael Gigliotti, the leadoff man, 0 for 2 on the day. Strikeout, and he lined one right into Justin Lewis's glove on a hot shot. But this time lines it up the middle out of the reach of Proctor. Gigliotti gets the second hit of the day for Falmouth. And Coach Gassman is right on his seat, as is Ray Corrin in the dugout.
Yeah, now Ray Corn's going to come out there and talk, and you knew the leash was going to be tight. And like I said, that kind of goes with what Gassman does in his trust with his players to send him back out there. But this might be it here for Justin Lewis.
We'll give Naylor a little bit of time for some warm-up pitches. And Corn might just be out there to chit-chat and delay some of the inevitable. But when you look at Justin Lewis's start today, 8 strikeouts on the day. He's only allowed 2 hits. Single up the middle by Gigliotti and then a single from Watson. And it looks like that's going to be it for Justin Lewis as Ray Corn shakes his hand. Lewis has put on a performance here at Judy Scarfile Field as he goes 6 and more innings here. He goes out of the ballgame. He will be the winning pitcher tonight if the score does hold for the Harbor Hawks. But Falmouth, they get the leadoff base runner on, and Michael Gigliotti and Matt Naylor, the All-Star, will be his job to finish off the rest of the inning here in the 7th. The 1-0 lead for the Harbor Hawks will step aside during the pitching change here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Matt Naylor still throwing some warm-up pitches for Hyannis. He comes in relief of Justin Lewis. He gives 6+ innings tonight. Was absolutely fantastic here on Christmas in July, Gabe. And we haven't talked much about it, but it is a big deal here at Hyannis. I mean, the whole stadium is pretty decked out. You see all the socks lining the fence near the press box. Snow cones. There's some activities for kids. You see Ozzy with that big Christmas hat. Gonzalez also with the hat. Santa threw out the first pitch tonight. I mean, they just had everything and anything that you could ask for.
So did Santa's helper.
So did Santa's helper. Gabe is referring to me. I was Buddy the Elf today.
You were Buddy the Elf.
That was fun, though. I mean, me, Santa, Harrington, James Harrington, and Daniel Johnson, along with some of the interns, got to ride on a fire truck, and we just kind of drove all throughout the Hyannis-Catuit greater area. We went all the way down to Craigsville Beach, went to Hyannisport. It was something, it was pretty special. Went down to the marina as well. So Naylor will resume play here. We'll throw over to first and check Gigliotti, obviously a threat to steal. Michael Gigliotti, probably one of my favorite players to watch here on Cape Cod. So exciting, and has a strong throw over to first. Gigliotti now with 11 stolen bases on the season. He leads Falmouth Commodores in that category, and it's 4th on the Cape. There's Matt Naylor now facing Deacon Lippert, and he squares the bunt but pulls it back after Naylor misses outside.
And
Naylor?
And like we knew I was going to say for Justin Lewis, we knew his leash was short, and Matt Naylor gets to come in. Technically, it's a relief, but he comes in with no outs, so he starts an entire inning, which you normally don't see from him. You see him pitch an inning, but that's after he comes in.
Another bunt shown. Pulled back as Naylor has missed 2 pitches outside now. Yeah, he. I don't think that he's really started an inning. And he still doesn't start an inning here, but he's got 3 outs. He's got to work and get 3 outs here. As he pitched an inning and 2/3 against Chatham on Sunday. Gave up 2 hits, walked 1, and struck out 2. As Lippert squares the bunt, he does offer at that one.
And Hudgens is just waiting to get a nice throw over to first there. He keeps looking at Gigliotti. He probably was going to do it there if the ball doesn't slip out of his hands. I think he's half hoping he tries to make that steal to throw him out at second.
Already threw Tristan Gray out on a steal, a delayed steal. And then we'll check Gigliotti once more. Naylor, as we mentioned, an all-star this year. 4 wins and a loss, a 1.69 ERA, as Lipput does get the bunt down. First base side, Henry ranges over, but the throw goes over Rutherford's head. Netzer picks it up in foul territory. It's an error for Cody Henry. And now Falmouth has both the tying and the winning run in scoring position with no outs here in the 7th.
He threw a rainbow over Rutherford there. It wasn't even close. Rutherford even tried to jump over, and he couldn't make the grab. That's a tough one to swallow for Hyannis. You could have gotten that one out and had a man on second. Now you're in deep trouble here.
We have not seen an error in quite some time from Hyannis. They were plagued by them early on in the season, especially during that 7-game losing streak. Bourne, there were a couple of mental errors. Nothing that was quite physical like that. As Lipput will get credit for the sacrifice, and everybody else will advance on the error, and it will be J.J. Matajevic, the left-hander out of Arizona, as he will face Naylor with the infield in for Hyannis. Matajevic has been hitting poorly on the road, 174, as he fouls this one off in the screen.
Yeah, and this is a tough one to watch here if you're Lewis sitting in the dugout to leaving the game, and it's all kind of turning closest. He still has that earned run in Gigliotti over on third, but you do so well and late into this game, and one swing could go all down the drain.
Matajevic gets a piece of one. It's going to land right in front of Rogers, who does a nice job of blocking it, not letting it get by him. But the tying run is across as Michael Gigliotti comes home. It's a 1-1 ball game here in the 7th, and that run goes to Justin Lewis.
Yeah, and you saw there for Rogers for a second, he might have thought about diving for it, but he knew better and to stay in front of it to make sure he avoids 2 runners from scoring as well. But still, Hyannis, you're looking for that first out, and you have another guy on third base.
No outs here in the 7th. Runners on the corner for Josh Watson. Infield is halfway for Hyannis. Watson, he fakes the run, and Naylor gets a strike across to Watson. Or excuse me, Matajevic fakes the run. Watson walked and singled, as he was really the only Falmouth batter who wasn't fooled by Justin Lewis's stuff this afternoon. As this one sneaks in and nails Josh Watson. And now the bases are loaded. Matt Naylor really struggling here in this relief appearance.
He's struggled in his last couple of starts. He's been having trouble dropping the pitches where usually you've seen him do it early on, as it's not coming in or it's coming too far inside on a lot of guys. And he's definitely had his struggles later on this season.
Well, he got a win against Falmouth here at Judy Scarafile Field, but also was dealt a loss the last time he faced them at Gov Fuller, as Berger fouls this one off into the screen. At Falmouth, pitched 2 2/3, gave up 2 earned runs on 4 hits, one of those being the go-ahead home run by Watson, who he just nailed. Berger steps to the plate, swings at this one, flies it into deep right field. Netzer is back, and he will make the grab. But tagging from third is Lipput. And there is the go-ahead run for the Falmouth Commodores. They scored 2 here in the top of the 7th, and they still have got 2 outs to work with 2 runners on.
I think it was a smart move, though, by Netzer to go to third to avoid another guy getting over there to put himself 90 feet away and score another run with a sacrifice fly. And Gassman's going to come out here and talk to Naylor, and this might be it for him.
Well, lefty and Tristan Gray is up, and then it's Matt Deuce. So we could see Gassman go to the bullpen to get the lefty-on-lefty favor, and he does signal for Gil Breath. Matt Naylor would pick up the loss if this scoreline holds, as he gives up 2 runs here, one of them being earned to his name, and he leaves here in the 7th with an out and 2 runners on for the Falmouth Commodores. They lead it 2-1 now as Lucas Gilbreth coming in relief will step aside for the moment. A pitching change for Hyannis here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Top of the 7th, Falmouth Commodores, only with 1 out in the inning and 2 runners on as they have scored 2 here to go ahead a run against the Harbor Hawks as Lucas Gilbreth comes in relief of Matt Naylor, who is responsible for the 2 base runners on now for the Commodores. As Gilbreth will face Tristan Gray to start things off here in the 7th. Gray swings the first pitch, flies it into foul territory. Rogers ranging over, but he'll run out of room at the fence.
Yeah, and you put in Gilbreth to hopefully just go lefty-lefty against Gray, get him to ground down to a double play and end the inning, and save yourself to only giving up 2 runs in the inning. I mean, you do have Matt Deuce who comes in, who hits pretty well against lefties and righties, but you put in Gray because of how poorly he does against left-handed pitchers.
Gilbreth will kick and fire the 0-1. This one is mashed into left center field. Rogers ranges over, and he can't get it. It's out of his reach. Matajevic comes around third, and right behind him is Watson, and the play at the plate is in time. Great relay throw from Ford Proctor from the outfield as Falmouth scores 1, but the other run is nulled, and it looks like there'll be a discussion here at home plate.
I think that was a pretty clean swipe by Hudgens. I think he got back in front of the plate with the grab, and he forced Watson to kind of slide around him. I don't think Watson got the slag in there, but Falmouth is not happy about it. And unfortunately, Gray kind of bites back at that left-handed struggle to score at least 1 run. And they'll have to go back into the dugout, but I think it's a good play by Hyannis. They're really hanging on. They're only allowing them to score a run every out, and I guess that's the best you can do once you've had a lot of guys on base.
Jeff Trundy came out of the dugout as the first pitch to Matt Deuce is a curveball, and interesting to see there is they thought the lefty versus lefty action would work on Tristan Gray, who's batting 143 against lefties compared to 421 against right-handed hitters, and he just smacks the double. I mean,
like that's baseball.
You get hits everyone. I mean, the stats they're not going to show every at bat, you know. So Gilbreth gives up the double. Falmouth now leads it 3-1. 2 outs here in the 7th with Matt Deuce at bat. He takes the 1-1 fastball on the outside corner, misses. Deuce is hitting 200 against lefties, 3 hits and 15 at-bats. Not a large sample size for the catcher. 2-1 curveball misses outside.
But now if you're Gilbreth, you have to find a way to get Deuce out and just limit anything else. I mean, Puckett, he might come back in the next inning, but there is warm-ups going on in the bullpen for Falmouth.
This one's fouled off, and it'll be a full count now to Matt Deuce with 2 outs here in the 7th. Lewis started this inning. Naylor came in relief, and Gilbreth now trying to end it. The lefty out of Minnesota comes set. He'll take a peek at second. Here's the payoff pitch, a curveball. Got him looking. Matt Deuce goes down on strikes here in the 7th, but Falmouth, they tack on 3 of their 4 hits here in the 7th, and all 3 runs as well in the 7th inning. As we move to the bottom half, Hyannis trying to strike back here after they lost the lead, a 3-1 scoreline here at Judy Scarafile Field on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the 7th inning, Christmas music blaring over the loudspeakers. Christmas in July here on Cape Cod, especially at Judy Scarafile Field. As Brady Puckett still on the mound for the Commodores into the 7th inning. Gabe, he's only had 58 pitches through 6 innings of work as he has retired the side in the last 5 innings.
And that just shows that Hyannis has not sat back on him a lot. They've not forced him to throw as many pitches. They swing at a lot of – he only has 1 strikeout. So he throws a lot of pitches that they make contact on. They get into the defense. And even with the performance of what Justin Lewis has done, Puckett has found a way to outdo it.
1-1 pitch to Proctor is up in the zone. Proctor reached base in the first, was hit by a pitch, but then was picked off to end the inning. And his last at-bat grounded to short. As his 7th game hitting streak ended against Chatham after he went hitless. Watches this one go by, and it's a 3-1 count now.
But this is your job now for Hyannis. You got to make him work longer and try to force him out of this game and bring in the bullpen.
3-1 pitch, swing and a miss on the high fastball.
Even though their entire pitching staff is good, you just have to find someone else than Puckett. I mean, this game is well within reach. Justin Lewis gave you this opportunity to have a shot at this game.
Payoff pitch now for Brady Puckett against Proctor. Gets some wood on it, flies it into deep left. Over to grab it is Watson. He makes the grab for the first out of the inning. Hyannis, they give up 3 runs in the top half of the 3rd. And top half of the 7th inning. And Gabe, that has kind of just seemed to be the weakness against Falmouth is they've had leads and they've just given up these runs later in the inning.
And I mean, Matt Naylor has had a few struggles coming in relief for guys where he's missed pitches before. And you had Gilbreth come in. He fails to convert on the lefty-lefty matchup to kind of hold Falmouth to one less run.
Rutherford gets another good piece of the ball, but it will stay in the park. As Gigliotti ranges back to the warning track, he'll make the grab. 2 flyouts and 2 outs in the inning.
And that's just been the thing that's hurt them in the past couple of games, is the bullpen has just not been able to fully close the door when you normally have seen them do so. And Falmouth had Puckett out where he allows that 1 run to score, and then they get those 3 runs, and so far Puckett has just been dominating Hyannis batters.
First pitch to Jordan Rogers, a curveball upstairs for a strike. Rogers 0 for 2 on the day. As Brady Puckett with another fantastic outing against Hyannis. Rogers pops this one up. It will stay in the infield. Lip put is under it, and that will do it for Hyannis. Puckett puts down the side for the 6th straight time, and it'll be 3 flyouts to end the 7th here for Hyannis. Falmouth leads at 3-1 as we head to the 8th inning of play here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Three to one lead for the Commodores headed into the top of the 8th inning, and another pitching change for Hyannis. This time, it's the newcomer on the Cape, one that we've mentioned during the Sunday night Hawk Talk as well as the Sunday broadcast. The left-hander out of Florida Atlantic, Dominic Labruto, making his first appearance here on Cape Cod. The left-hander who had fantastic stats at Florida Atlantic, is good friends with Florida International, with good friends with Garrett Cave, who pretty much brought the left-hander up here. As he will face Tyler Holton for his first batter, misses on the fastball.
Yeah, he comes in as a straight reliever, 23 appearances, a 1.04 ERA, 34 and 2/3 innings pitched, 44 strikeouts, 15 walks, 25 hits, a batter average against of 202.
At 202, the difference maker as Holton pulls off this pitch and fouls it.
And out of those 25 hits, only 4 of them for extra bases.
And that is the big stat. We'll see how he fares up here against some of the best competition in the nation. As Labruto was taking the summer off down in Florida after he had Tommy John surgery last year. Was resting the arm. Curveball drops in there for a strike, and you can already see the good stuff from Labruto.
Yeah, this kid has some filthy stuff so far. And this is someone that you want You need to try and get another lefty in the bullpen.
Bounces in the dirt. Good block from Chris Hudgens.
I mean, all you had is Gilbreth and Barlow, so now you get another lefty in there. And
Daniel
and
Johnson.
I forgot about Daniel Johnson. But still, you only had 3 guys there, so now you have more variety and you have just more depth to your bullpen.
Curveball just missing. As Tyler Holton 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout and a flyout. Labruto trying to get the first out here in his first appearance. Fastball misses low as he will walk Tyler Holton, the first batter that he faces.
And I mean, look, this might be a little bit of a bumpy road coming in here, even with the stuff that he has. But I'm not completely surprised they put him in. You're going to have to find a point in these last 8 games to put him in. And Cave has probably been a big supporter of him. While he has the stats to back things up, I think Cave has kind of told them what he can do and what his abilities are coming up here.
First pitch to the 9-hitter, and Caden Greneur is upstairs. As I think Cave carries a little bit more weight than the stats as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a clubhouse guy. He's a team-first kind of individual, and he wants this team to win more than anything. Labruto comes set, showing bunt, and the snap throw down is not in time. Henry forgets it on the dirt, but I don't think that it would have gotten Holton at first. Close play.
Kay mentioned that this is a guy who he believed deserved to have an opportunity to play up here, that maybe if he didn't say he was going to take the summer off, he might have found himself up here, depending on where he played early on. Maybe he gets brought up here at some point.
The 2-0 pitch. Fastball misses upstairs. One arm warming in the bullpen for Hyannis. And it looks like Al Pesto. And Gabe talking to Sean Manfredo, assistant coach for Hyannis, about the bullpen and just kind of losing a lot of guys as Labredo watched his second batter here and looking at his fingers. But nonetheless, first 2 aboard for Falmouth and the top of the lineup 2 up. Talking to Manfredo about the bullpen, he was pretty much just like, look, it's going to come down to El Pesto and Gilbreth and how good they can be. Because you can't use Naylor and Harrington every night, and they've been shaky a little bit. Cave is your 9th inning guy. How are you going to get to the 9th inning, though, when you're up? And that is where Al Pesto and Lucas Gilbreth comes in, and also now Dominic Labruto. Al Pesto, Labruto. Michael Gigliotti, the batter.
And, I mean, we've talked about this before, where you need guys in the bullpen to step up. Because while they may not have found their way into the position that Naylor and Harrington and Cave have, they still need to have the idea that they are really needed in that spot.
Fastball misses low again.
I mean, they're just as important now as those 3 guys because they're the guys that have to come in when they can and try to help them win games.
Labruto almost in the same situation, but here he's just trying to hold the damage. So far, he's walked the first 2 batters he's faced, and now he has another pitch in the dirt. As that is now 9 straight balls for Dominic Labruto. Busby comes over, talks to him. Pesto warming in the pen. And Michael Gigliotti at the plate, who started things off in the 7th inning. That 3-run 7th for the Falmouth Commodores. As Labruto finally gets a fastball for a strike.
And you would have to think some of this is probably just nerves. Really working through it. The guy was sitting on the couch for the whole time in Florida.
This is his first game pitch since the last regular season game for Florida International. Swing and a miss on the curveball from Gigliotti, and Labruto works back to a full count. No outs here in the 8th. 2 runners on. 3-1 lead for the Commodores. Dominic Labruto in his first appearance on Cape Cod after being brought up from Florida International by Garrett Cave. Both runners go. The pitch is low, and it's a walk. So the throw down from Hudgens means nothing, and the bases are loaded all on walks by Dominic Labruto, and that looks like it will be it for his first appearance up here on Cape Cod.
And, I mean, look, this is going to be a tough first appearance for him to remember, but I think you still go back to the guy who just comes up here. It's not easy to be handed the ball and say you're going to face better competition than you probably ever faced at Florida International. Good luck. And just unfortunately for him, he didn't have the outing that he wants, but I'm sure Gassman will go to him again. I think he's just there to see him some of his stuff, but it just didn't work out in his favor.
Tough first outing up here on Cape Cod. Granted, he hasn't pitched in a very long time as he was taking the summer off. But nonetheless, we'll see Al Pesto take the mound. He's got a jam to work with here in the 8th. Bases loaded and no outs, with Falmouth leading this one 3-0 on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Pitching change for the Harbor Hawks here in the top of the 8th inning, as Al Pesto will come in relief of Dominic Labruto out of Florida International, who made his first appearance on Cape Cod. A tough one as he walks Tyler Holton, Caden Grenner, and Michael Gigliotti, and there are no outs here in the 8th with the bases loaded. And Al Pesto comes in his 12th appearance on Cape Cod. His second appearance against the Commodores. He pitched in a loss here against Falmouth, and he pitched in a win as well. Both times he pitched an inning and a third. Now the infield in for the Harbor Hawks as Al Pesto misses low against Deacon Liput, who was credited in his last at-bat for the sacrifice bunt, but he reached really on an error from Cody Henry, and that led to a spiral of events that led to 3 runs for Falmouth. Al Pesto on the 1-0 pitch, misses outside.
And in this situation, I just can't keep not looking back to Justin Lewis and just the incredible start that he had. And he just is seeing it get washed away as if it was nothing.
Slow chopper. Henry's got it. The throw to home is wide. Hudgens can't come up with it. 1 run scores, and so does a second and Grenner. And all the way to second goes Deacon Liput. No outs on the play, 2 runs in. And Cody Henry struggles, and it was a tough throw to make as he was really right on the line as Liput was coming right at him. And that might have contributed to the wide throw that Hudgens couldn't come up with.
This has been a tough 2 innings for Cody Henry at first base. 2 errors, 1 in each inning. Both have had major contributions to why Falmouth has fought back and took a large lead into this game, and he's just going to be kicking himself there. I know he might have had some struggle maybe seeing, but that's all on you. You have to find a way to get that out at home.
Henry only his 4th error on the season, and now 2 runners in scoring position, no outs for the 3-hitter. And J.J. Matajevic, not a guy you want up with runners in scoring position, hitting .368. Five-1 lead for the Commodores. Alpesto misses outside to even the count on 1-1. Justin Lewis had the best start of a Hyannis pitcher this season. He was leaving this Falmouth Commodores team scratching their heads headed into the 7th inning. This one's popped up. Shallow center field. Out goes Proctor. He was in, but he makes the grab. Usually a routine play for the shortstop. A little bit more difficult with the infield in for Hyannis, but one away here in the 8th.
And that's all you can do now if you're Pesto. You can just keep fighting at this. And so the RBI will not count as we've been told, and I'm not surprised about that.
Here's Josh Watson. Watson has a hit today. Was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat against Matt Naylor. Fouls this first pitch off. Josh Watson out of TCU. Hitting .269 against right-handed pitching. On the season, hitting .295. Del Pesto gets across a fastball for strike 2 and 0-2 count.
This has been the biggest thing that I've seen for guys, especially against left-handed batters. And, I mean, Puckett, he's done a good job to avoid it, but you've seen a lot of times the outside of that strike zone really is close in.
0-2 pitch, swing and a miss from Josh Watson. Del Pesto gets a strikeout for the second out here in the 8th. And now Willie Berger comes up with 2 runners in scoring position. They are in danger of being stranded by El Pesto. 2 runs cross. Those earned runs will go in the name of Dominic Labruto, who came in relief here in the 8th inning. Was unable to get an out as Berger swings through this first pitch from El Pesto. And granted, I mean, we mentioned it again, Labruto is his first appearance, his first outing in 2 months. And when you're sitting at home and then all of a sudden it's, hey, come up to Cape Cod, play baseball. Yeah, sounds great. Once you get out on the mound, it's a different ballgame. There's the animal. In between your ears, really. 0-1 pitch is outside, gets by Hudgens. 1 run will score. Gigliotti comes across. Scores his 2nd run of the evening. 6-1 lead now. Pesto will be credited with a wild pitch.
And they just keep going from bad to worse for Hyannis, and you still have to deal with the idea that you might see Brady Puckett come in for the 8th inning. I mean, there's a guy warming up, but I feel like the possibility is out there.
A 1-1 count now to Willie Berger with a runner on third. He fouls this pitch off. Berger really struggling against right-handed pitching this year as opposed to lefties, hitting 181 against righties, 379 against left-handers. To just give you a perspective on it, he's got 13 hits in 72 at-bats against righties, 11 hits in 29 at-bats against lefties. The 1-2 pitch to Willie Berger misses inside. No hits on the inning for Falmouth, yet 3 runs have scored. 3 walks, an error, and a wild pitch. Alpesto trying to get out of this nightmare 8th. The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss from Willie Berger. Alpesto gets 2 strikeouts here to end the 8th, but again, Falmouth, they come back with 3 more runs on 3 walks an error, and a wild pitch, as aforementioned. We'll head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. A 6-1 lead for the Commodores here at Judy Scarafile Field on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Six to one, Falmouth leading here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And it's been some bad news for the Harbor Hawks, but the good news here in the 8th is that Brady Puckett, his day is done after his longest outing on Cape Cod. He pitches 7 strong innings, only strikes out 3, gives up 1 earned run on 2 hits as Busby will step in against the new pitcher, the left-hander, out of Jacksonville State, Justin Hoyt, making his 12th appearance here on Cape Cod, a 2.07 record. As Busby, a one-hopper right back to Hoyt. He'll throw over, 1 away in the inning. And while things defensively and on the mound have not been great after Justin Lewis left the ballgame, Hyannis, they have not gotten it done at the plate at all. 2 hits on the day, 1 run that came on a sacrifice fly in the first inning. They have not been able to touch Brady Puckett, who was stellar through 7 innings of work, and now Justin Hoyt, a very tough man to come in against and try to get something started.
And you knew that was going to be the case going against Falmouth, going against Puckett for the second time. He dominated them in the first, and Hyannis just still couldn't find ways to get around him. I mean, this is why you need to try to stay in that second, third slot in the West Division, because the chances of you playing these 2 guys and getting 1 win out of them looks very unlikely at this point.
Well, Cody Henry works a 3-0 count here against Hoyt, and that is the fear. Is whoever's in the 4 spot against Falmouth is in big trouble because of these 2 guys, Pasatino and Puckett. As Henry works a 4-pitch walk. First walk of the game for Hyannis. Puckett did not walk a single batter in 7 innings.
Yeah, I mean, guys, just it's hard for him. That's what makes him dominant. That's what kind of takes away some of the issues of being a contact guy, is when guys are swinging early at all of your pitches, it works.
Henry thought that Hoyt was going over. He retreated back to first, but Hoyt instead delivers a first pitch strike to Chris Hudgens.
I mean, the contact pitcher, the issue is if you start throwing a lot of pitches, guys are going to see you a lot better and get more contact off of you.
Curveball misses low. Puckett threw less than 80 pitches in 7 innings of work. 80 pitches in 7 innings.
It's the best way you can work if you're a contact pitcher. Don't throw a lot of pitches, and you're going to likely get guys out.
And really, it kind of relates back to Hyannis just swinging early pitches in the count, but at some point they're forced to when Puckett's throwing strikes the whole day. One out here in the 8th. Hudgens rips one down the left field line. That will be extra bases. Into the corner goes Watson. Henry will be held up at third. A strong throw into second, but no one is there as Chris Hudgens picks up a double here with it. One out in the 8th, and now 2 runners in scoring positions for the pinch hitter in Carl Stadjahar. Cameron Este was the designated hitter this evening. He was 0 for 2, and since the lefty came in Justin Hoyt, they'll bring up a right-handed batter in Carl Stadjahar, and it's been a really tough road for Stadjahar this season as he, later on in the season, he hasn't gotten the same consistent playing time that he once did. 2 runners in scoring positions for the Harbor Hawks with 1 out in the 8th, a 6-1 lead for the Commodores. His first pitch is a curveball to Stadjahar. It lands in there for a strike.
And, I mean, even though Stadjahar is struggling and Trey Truitt's falling behind him, replacing Habercorn, I think you just need to give some fresh looks in this game if you're Hyannis.
Trey Truitt in the on-deck circle, another right-handed hitter.
I mean, you see this. This is looking like one of your prime opportunities to fight your way back into this game against Falmouth and maybe give yourself a shot in the bottom of the 9th inning.
1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss from Carl Stadjahar. Stadjahar, he's had 80 at-bats on the season, but recently he has not been starting in games. He's more been a pinch hitter. Cameron Este was heating up a little bit. He got the designated hitter spot. And with the all-star left side of the infield, and as well as Cody Henry, who's been fantastic at first, it's been tough for Stadjahar to break into this lineup as a designated hitter, as a first baseman, or as a third baseman. 1-2 curveball misses low. Good block from Matt Deuce.
But then this is where you have to make your mark if you're Stadjahar. We talked about it at Bourne with Trey Habercorn, and he gets those 2 hits in the inning to get a run and an RBI. So I know it's not many times you get it, but sometimes for players you have to find your moment.
Stadjahar trying to find his moment here. The 2-2, a big swing and a miss for Carl Stadjahar. Second out of the inning, and the 21st strikeout on the year for Stadjahar. As Trey Truitt, the last hope here in the 8th to knock across any more runs to try and tally back against the Commodores, who lead at 6-1 after a strong performance by Brady Puckett. Puckett now in the bullpen, kind of warming down. He's also protecting the bullpen pitcher, somebody warming up in the pen. Well, here's Trey Truitt, who did not get the start in center field tonight. That belonged to Trey Habercorn. Curveball from Hoyt misses. As Trey Truitt hitting .221 on the season. And after missing almost a week and a half, has been cold as of late. He's only picked up 2 hits since his return on July 17th. Hoyt gets a fastball in there for strike one, a 1-1 count now with 2 outs in the 8th. 2 runners in scoring position for Hyannis. Henry on third, and Chris Hudgens on second after the double. Truitt smacks one up the middle. A base knock with 2 outs. 1 run comes across to score. Hudgens hustling in from second, and he'll slide in safely at home. Trey Truitt. We mentioned that he only had 2 hits in what has been a week now that he's returned, but he gets a big hit there that brings home 2 runs. It's a 6-3 ball game now.
Yeah, and that's a big play for Truitt. Like I said, didn't happen with Stadjahar, but Truitt finds a way to come through, finds scores both runs, which is crucial. So now you're only down 3. You can extend this inning a little further, but if you can go to the 9th and only hold it to what it is now, you give yourself an opportunity in the bottom.
Netzer shows bunt, pulls back as the pitch from Hoyt was way low. Before Chris Hudgens came and doubled in the 8th, Netzer was the only man with an extra base hit tonight for Hyannis. He doubled back in the first and was robbed of a double by Gigliotti in the 3rd. Fouls this one straight back to even the count at 1. Big hit from Trey True with 2 outs in the inning. As a 5-run deficit, a lot different than a 3-run deficit. Kind of gives the Harbor Hawks a little bit of hope as Hoyt's curveball hits for strike 2 now against Netzer. Netzer now with the 5th best batting average on the Harbor Hawks team at .272. Big swing and a miss from Brett Netzer, 3rd and final out here in the 8th. But Hyannis, they tack on 2 runs off the single from Trey Truitt. A 6-3 ball game headed into the 9th inning of play on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Ninth inning of play here at Judy Scarafile Field. A 6-3 lead for the Commodores. As Tristan Gray will lead things off for Falmouth. Swings at the first pitch, knocks it foul. Alpesto still on the bump for the Harbor Hawks. He's done well so far. Retired 3 batters for the final 3 outs in the 8th. Pretty much pitched 4 outs as there was a chopper to Henry, but Henry missed with the error.
But like I mentioned for Hyannis, those 2 runs do not help if you can't complete the second phase of this plan, is to get to the bottom of the 9th at a 6-3 game.
Gray doubled in his last at-bat, swings through that pitch, a 1-2 count now to Tristan Gray, who struck out in the 2nd, walked in the 5th, but was caught stealing to end the inning, and then doubled in the 7th. That brought home a run. 1-2 pitch is in the dirt. Hudgens tries to scoop it. And now he'll go out and talk with Alpesto for a moment in the 9th. No outs. 1 man warming for Hyannis just in case. And a man warming for the Commodores here, as it is a 3-run ball game. Somebody could come in for Falmouth and get the save, be credited with the save on the stat sheet if they can hold the 9th inning of play. So we will resume play here. Gray will step back in, and Alpesto comes set once more. A 2-2 pitch. This one misses low, gets by Hudgens. And it's been that kind of day in the later half of this game. Harbor Hawks squandered a 1-run lead back in the 7th. Falmouth struck 3 runs in the top half and then 3 in the 3rd. Gray fights off an inside pitch, and it lands right in left center field. He'll have his 2nd base hit of the night, this time a single. And another leadoff hit for Falmouth here in the 9th.
Yeah, no longer being fooled by Justin Lewis. They're seeing everything well. And, I mean, Gray just finds a way to fly that in a place where Trey Truitt can't reach it, and neither can Rogers. And he extends this inning, and now Pesto has to work his way to avoid any more damage.
Well, here's Matt Deuce, the catcher, who is working on that golden sombrero. He's got 3 strikeouts tonight. If he makes it 4, he will be dubbed. I haven't seen many golden sombreros this year. I think only 1 or 2. Every time we have, I've freaked out. Golden sombrero is such a great baseball term. As Pesto misses low, 2-0 count. I have to say, I've earned the golden sombrero in my playing days. It's hard not to when you play a lot of games, you know. Every once in a while, you're just going to have an off day. Strike out 4 times. Deuce trying to avoid that here. That's always the journey. He's trying to avoid the golden sombrero. Now Pesto misses again on the inside corner.
Yeah, so far hasn't had to do anything to try and go for it. Pesto's just been missing way out of the zone.
Let's see what El Pesto can muster up here. The payoff pitch is low, and it's a 4-pitch walk to Matt Deuce. He is probably rejoicing inside his head, saying, sweet, I didn't strike out. No golden sombrero for me.
I mean, I don't think he would care that much. His team leads 6-3, but now this
Oh,
is
no
just...
player wants the golden sombrero. It is a, it is not one of the hats you want to wear on
Well,
a
I'm
baseball
not saying
field.
you want to wear it, but it helps ease it if your team wins. But this has just been a struggle for Pesto.
Gassman comes out of the dugout. El Pesto has allowed the first 2 runners on for the Commodores. A single into left center field by Gray. And a walk, 4-pitch walk to Matt Deuce. That looks like it will be it for El Pesto, as we will step aside here in the 9th. No outs, 2 runners on for the Commodores. They lead it 6-3 here at Judy Scarafile Field on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 9th inning. 6-3 lead for the Commodores, who threaten here in the 9th. 2 runners on, no outs. Pitching change for Hyannis. And will be Tristan Barlow, the left-hander out of Mississippi State. His first pitch to Tyler Holton misses outside. El Pesto in the 9th. Gives up a hit to Gray and then walks Matt Deuce on 4 straight pitches. Barlow trying to work out of a jam here with no outs in the inning. Left-hander kicks and deals. This one gets past Hudgens, but he's got to play at third. The throw was high, and Busby came right down on Tristan Gray. Looks like he is shaken up a bit. Still lying down at third. Busby's going to pick him up, and everything seems to be okay. Hopefully Gray can walk this one off. The throw from Hudgens, it would have been in time, but it was just way high.
Yeah, it's now really the third time for Hyannis tonight where a throw hasn't been on track to would have gotten them an out. Both times it's been Henry, but now it's Hudgens, and they're going to go out and check on Gray. I mean, that's a tough way to slide in there, and then you're really not expecting Busby to come in like that, having to make that jump in the air, really just to save the ball from going away. It looks like he's kind of pointing towards his left leg a little bit and moving it around.
Busby came right down on Tristan Gray, but we'll take this moment here to talk about some of the bigger picture going on Cape Cod. Gabe, Brewster held a 3-0 lead in the 8th inning against the Gatemen. Wareham comes back and in 10 innings beats the Whitecaps 4-3 to win 7 straight games now. As Brewster did that to Bourne. They were up 6-0. Brewster was up, or Bourne did that to Brewster. No, Brewster did that to Bourne. Bourne was up 6-0, and Brewster came back and scored 6
You were starting
runs.
to confuse me.
I was, my fault. But Wareham get their 7th straight wins. And look at this standing ovation for the trainer on the Falmouth Commodores dugout. That is awesome. I don't know if our camera's going to be able to get there.
Probably not. There's going to be a giant post in the way.
Misses the whole standing ovation, but pretty much what happened was...
Keep your day job, Jack.
The whole Commodores, they came out, everyone in the dugout came out and greeted the trainer walking back in. Gray's all right at third. 3-0 pitch now to Tyler Holton. Infield's in for Hyannis. Fastball hits. And Gabe, more bad news for Hyannis. Bourne wins 3-2 against Katuitt after Katuitt had a 1-0 lead. 3-1 pitch is fouled off out of play. And this makes the game against Wareham tomorrow all that more important. They couldn't get it. Well, game is not over here, but Falmouth down 1 run with no outs, Falmouth up 3 runs with no outs in the 9th. And with the way Hyannis has been hitting, this could be a L for the Harbor Hawks as Tyler Holton tosses his bat aside. He takes the walk down to first, and the bases are loaded again with no outs in the inning like they were in the 8th.
And, yeah, this is going to be a tough one to swallow for Hyannis with, like I mentioned, a stellar start from Justin Lewis, and then you see Bourne and Wareham win their games, and now you have to go face a very hot Gateman team to try and continue to stay up with Bourne because, Your Highness, you do not want to play this team in the first round. You do not want to see this dominant pitching.
Bases are loaded. First pitch is mashed into left. Rogers ranges over. Tagging from third and standing up safely is Tristan Gray. 7-3 now the ball game stands. As Hyannis, they lost their last competition to Falmouth 7-3. That one was at Gov Fuller Field, and Falmouth just seems to have the Harbor Hawks number. They've only lost 1 game to Hyannis. They've won 3.
And they've also thrown their best guys at them 3 of the 4 times now that they played them.
I mean, they know how important the series is.
Yeah. They've thrown Puckett twice. They throw Singer at them once. And the only win they got was against Cole Sands, who has struggled for them. I mean, they're just lucky I think they haven't had to play Passantino yet.
Passantino would be the guy that they would face in that first game. A lot of
I don't
things.
know if they'd play him in the first game even. I would throw Puckett if I was Falmouth and I was playing them. I'd throw Puckett the
Very
first game.
true. Gigliotti, the leadoff man for Falmouth, fouls this one off. 0-2 count now to Gigliotti, who is 1 for 3 on the evening. Scored 2 runs on the day.
But yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think I would completely do that if I was Falmouth.
No, I would agree. I mean, why would you throw Pasatino when you could save him for another series?
Or you could just save him for game 2.
You could have Puckett, you could have Singer, and then if you need
Singer.
Pasatino for game 3, you got Pasatino. One out here in the ninth, a 7-3 lead for Falmouth. Gigliotti in an 0-2 hole as he ropes this one, hits the first base umpire. It was foul. One hops and nails that first base umpire right on the line.
He gets back up, though, and throws it right over. And that's the biggest thing for Falmouth that you see is that they have 3 guys all from the same university in Lipscomb. All 3 of them have been all-stars. And they have been given a great opportunity that they've got talented guys and they're doing their best up here. And they're likely going to be able to keep doing it up here. They're not going to be pulled back by their school.
Curveball misses low, and
you're talking about 3 players from an ACC or SEC school. There's no chance that they're going to have them stay up here for that entire time. If they're doing this well, they want them back there.
Well, maybe a batter.
Maybe a batter.
But
no way for Pasatino or Puckett if they go to really top
Dylan Busby's still up here. He got up here late because Florida State was in the playoffs. They were in the regionals. True. But Dylan Busby is still up here, and he's going to be here to the end.
And I think that's a big thing that works in Falmouth's favor. And I know you have a lot of good talent up here, but part of it is finding the talent that connects and has great opportunities, and they do well up here.
Gigliotti strokes one into center field. Truitt ranging back. Will make the grab. 2 outs here in the ninth. Barlow working well in relief after giving up the walk to Tyler Holton.
And I mean, that's the biggest part of being up on Cape anyway. You're going to gather a lot of great talent around the country. But what truly matters is does that talent come together? Do they play the same way that they play, or do they pick up their play that they normally do? Do they improve up here? Do they do well against the competition? Falmouth has shown that. It's been a complete 180 from what they've done last year. And, of course, they have completely different players, really, aside from Matajevic, who was up here last year.
Curveball's in there for a strike against Deacon Lip-Put.
Part of it, you have to feel good if you're a Falmouth fan, though, of how they lost last year to drop out of the playoffs. A wild pitch to end the game for a run scored.
This one fouled off the plate. Falmouth, while they had a tough season last year, this year they are excelling. They have been fantastic. And Gabe, as we look ahead to tomorrow, we look ahead to that Wareham-Hyannis matchup at Spillane Field. Wareham, they've got Hunter Leger going. They've got Gunnar Leger, excuse me. Gunnar Leger has dominated Hyannis.
Yeah.
Dominated the Cape League. Would have been an all-star if he could have thrown more innings. I mean, I would say he's been one of the best pitchers on Cape Cod. And Hyannis, they've got Alex House going. And Leger was an all-star. Yeah, that's right. Big swing and a miss. A strikeout for Tristan Barlow to end the ninth inning. One more run crosses for Falmouth. They leave 2 runners stranded. Hyannis with one last chance in the bottom half of the ninth as they're down 4 runs. They need to win this one to stay even with Bourne and Wareham, who both won tonight, to keep this playoff race close as we head to the bottom of the ninth inning here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. 7-3 lead for Wareham here, for Falmouth here at Judy Scarafile Field. Last chance for the Harbor Hawks in the bottom of the 9th inning, but Gabe, it's not going to be much of a chance, as important as Garrett Cave is to Hyannis and how lights out he has been. Corbin Martin potentially could be more lights out than Garrett Cave. In 10 appearances, he's not allowed an earned run, and he's given up 2 hits on 1 walk. He's got 5 saves on the year.
And this is Falmouth flexing their pitching muscles right now. They want to keep this game at hand.
Proctor swings through that one to even the count at 1s.
I mean, they've seen what Hyannis has been able to do against bullpen pitching and coming back close into games. I don't think they want to feel any kind of pressure. I think they're just going to deal Martin out there and shut the door.
Martin was not an all-star somehow. He's only pitched 12 innings. They've all been in the latter innings. He's only pitched in 1 loss, and that was against his first appearance against Hyannis here. The 6-3 win. He pitched 2 innings, only gave up a hit. 1 of 2 that he has given up. But ridiculous stats for the rising sophomore at Texas A&M as he faces the heart of the lineup for the Harbor Hawks in Proctor, Rutherford, and Rogers. And Gabe, we talked a little bit about the Wareham game tomorrow for Hyannis as they look forward to that. Gunnar Leger, is starting for the Gateman, but he's only going to go 3 innings of work as he's on a tight pitch count. He's not going to be here for playoffs, which is big for whoever plays Wareham, whether that be Hyannis or Bourne. And it's going to be a toss-up between the two. 2-2 pitch is upstairs.
And, I mean, the guy's been completely dominant while he's been up here, so you can try to get him at those first 3 innings, but I think then you just hold out the hope that you come back for the rest of the 6.
Proctor fights off this fastball out of play. And for Bourne, they take on Brewster. That one will be at Bourne. Hunter Martin going for the Whitecaps. Hyannis, we've seen him plenty of times.
Good luck to them.
Yeah. Full count pitch. Proctor lifts it into left field. Only the 3rd hit that Corbin Martin has given up here in his time. And it's a leadoff runner for Hyannis and Ford Proctor, his first hit of the evening.
I mean, it's a start. All you can hope for as Hyannis is to keep swinging the bats, keep making good contact. And it's going to be a tough 3 innings against Leger, and you know that. But I think that's the one thing you hold out hope for is you have 6 more innings against the Wareham bullpen.
Curveball's in there for a strike, and agreed. But you also have Alex House starting for Hyannis, and he gave up 5 runs in the first 3 innings against YD. So you have that counterbalance of Leger and House, who House gets knocked around when he first comes in. But once he settles down, he really does put hitters away as Rutherford knocks this one foul, an 0-2 count now to the All-Star.
And that's the biggest thing. I mean, this is the consistent battle that Hyannis has had to fight of getting a good pitching performance and then getting the bats against the opponent on the same page. I mean, they've had situations where one happens and the other doesn't, and they get wins, but that's been their biggest thing of balancing that scale and being able to contribute. I mean, they missed that spot tonight. Part of the whole scale fell on the side of pitching with Justin Lewis, but the hitting did not support the other end of that scale.
This has almost been like 2 different ball games. I mean, there were the first 6 innings of play, and then there were the last 3. And for Hyannis, if they want to be successful, they can't continue to do that. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Rutherford. He fouls this one out of play again. Justin Lewis had the best start for a Hyannis pitcher this season, and you wouldn't have guessed it if you saw the scoreline. He will not be dealt the loss. That one will go to Matt Naylor, who only gave up 2 earned runs. Rutherford fouls this one back again.
You got to like Rutherford, though. He keeps fighting in this at bat, looking for a pitch or just staying alive at everything he can to make good contact. But you're right. It'll go completely unnoticed, and probably in Justin Lewis' mind, part of it will go unnoticed too because his team didn't get the win in it.
This one works inside. Wareham has won 7 straight. With the win tonight for Bourne, they've won 3 straight. Hyannis could take their first loss after the win against Chatham, and that would drop them back in the standings. And Rutherford swings through the curveball for the first out of the inning. Corbin Martin gets Rutherford, who puts up a very tough at-bat. And Rutherford once again goes hitless tonight.
And this is the biggest thing for Hyannis. They're once again continuing to climb back to 500, but they always come to this point and have just not been able to get over that hump.
0-8 in games where they could get in within a game of going to 500. Rogers swings at the first pitch. Easy fly ball for Watson, 2 away in the 9th.
But, I mean, there's one more out, but at this point, you turn your sights towards Wareham. You need to keep moving on. There's not many games left, and you just have to find a chance. And speaking of chances, we'll get to see Josh Bailey getting that bat.
He's been up here for quite a while. Josh Bailey getting his first at-bat of the season as he pinch hits for Dylan Busby, the left-hander. We haven't seen him yet, but he's been here for almost a week. As Bailey was called up to help an outfield that didn't have that many arms left. But he hasn't really gotten an opportunity, but he does here in the 9th with 2 outs.
Hats off to him. He has to face probably one of the best closers on Cape.
Martin kicks and deals. This one gets by Deuce. Proctor trots over to second base. Wild pitch for Corbin Martin.
But like I was saying, that's all Hyannis can do. You'll have 7 more games after this. I mean, the only thing that kind of works in their favor is that Katuitt loses. And you don't lose any ground to them, but you have to still play 2 games against them. And you have to play a game against Harwich, Orleans. You still have to play a game against YD. It's not going to be easy.
It is a tough second half. I mean, it is a tough last 8 games. Very, very tough last games.
You have to play Falmouth again.
On the road, too, where Hyannis has not done well. Bailey hits a one-hopper up the middle. Over to get it is Grenier. The throw over, not in time. Josh Bailey picks up his first hit on Cape Cod.
That was close, too. Grenier was playing short to second and almost had that throw, but silver lining, at least for Bailey, gets in and gets a hit, and that's the way you can look at it for that.
Cody Henry comes up with now runners on the corners and 2 outs in the 9th. The 7-3 lead for the Falmouth Commodores. I'm slipping Wareham. I'm already thinking about them tomorrow. I mean, it's such a big game. Curveball misses low. The Gatemen, a week and a half ago, stood at 13-14 in 3rd place. Since they have climbed to 2nd, they're 3 points behind Falmouth. Although with this one, it will be 5 points. Unless Hyannis can work magic here with 2 outs in the inning. Cody Henry, one of the best hitters with runners in scoring position in 2 outs, hitting .375. Tonight, he's hitless. Walked in his last plate appearance, came around to score on the Trey Truitt single up the middle. This is a 1-1 count from Martin. Swings through the off-speed, and now 1 strike away for Corbin Martin from ending this game and giving Falmouth their 2nd straight win. Henry steps in. He'll tap the plate and he'll pump the bat across the plate a couple of times. Martin gets the sign. He comes set at the shoulders. Here's the 1-2 delivery. This one is way outside. Falmouth had 1 hit headed into the 7th inning. They've got 5 tonight. They've scored 7 runs in the last 3 innings of play. Martin trying to preserve the win here. He misses outside. Bailey takes 2nd. And it's a full count pitch now to Cody Henry with 2 outs in the inning. Been a long 9th inning here for Corbin Martin, who's been missing with a lot of pitches. But it only needs 1 pitch to get himself out of this one. The 3-2 curveball misses outside. Cody Henry works himself a 2-out walk, and now the bases are loaded with 2 outs in the inning with Chris Hudgens at the plate. The tying run comes to the plate, and Chris Hudgens.
And I mean, I know you got Martin there, one of your best closer, but come on. Would you be able to write a better story than this, than with Chris Hudgens?
Nothing has happened yet. Hudgens coming to the plate.
I'm just saying.
The implied.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
The implied. Hudgens doubling his last plate appearance, swings at this one, knocks it foul.
I mean, that's not what he should be looking for. He should just be looking for a base hit to score some runs and keep the inning going. But
well, he's got 4 home runs here on the Cape. Swings through that curveball, and now Corbin Martin works Hudgens in an 0-2 count, the 3rd time in the inning that Martin has come within a strike of ending this one. Wareham, they won. Bourne has won as well. Hyannis trying to crawl back in this with 2 outs. Hudgens fouls this pitch off. Everyone holding their breath in anticipation of something big or something terrible. Hyannis has pulled at the heartstrings all season. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Martin. Big swing and a miss from Chris Hudgens, and that will do it for the Harbor Hawks. They lose this one 7-3 off of some offense later in the innings from the Commodores and strong pitching down the stretch from Brady Puckett, who gets the win against Hyannis. And it's a tough loss to say the least. This one is going to be felt. Only 3 more home games left to play, 7 games on the season. And Gabe, this is a really tough loss, and it could come back to haunt Hyannis later in the season.
yeah, I mean, you have to give your hat to Puckett. He pitched another great game against them. And I talked about it before. This game hurts them, but I think what really is coming back to bite them is that 0-7 start. You knew at some point that was going to really come back at them, and it's showing here. I mean, you may not think exactly how it is, but you look back to that. They win a couple of those games. They could be in a completely different spot. They've never been able to find a way to get too hot as of recently, and they have stopped once again from reaching a game from 500. It's just been a similar story for them than this entire season of the struggles of going against tough pitching and just not being able to get good hitting. And they just happen to get a great performance from Justin Lewis, and they're not able to repay him for it.
Hyannis drops to 17-20. Falmouth, they move to 24-13. And Catuit, they lose tonight. Now 12-24-1. Gabe, it's not a race for Hyannis to get a playoff spot. It kind of seems like that's going to happen already. But really, it's a race not to play Falmouth in the playoffs, because even though the 4 seed in the West has had a lot of success since the Cape League has expanded to a 14 playoff system in the division, this Falmouth Commodore team is scary on the mound, especially with the 3 guys that we talked about in Passantino, Puckett, and Singer, which Hyannis, they've only seen 2 in Puckett and Singer, but you don't want to see Passantino as well in that playoff run. And it just kind of seems like you're fighting not to play Falmouth right now. Bourne gets a win. They take sole possession of 3rd place. Wareham, 7th straight win after being down 3-0 in the 8th inning. And going up against Gunnar Leger tomorrow, it kind of seems like the forces are pushing Hyannis back into 4th place. We'll see how they respond to it, but what are your thoughts on all of it?
I mean, I think for Falmouth, and both for Falmouth and Wareham, the only thing you can say for that is it may not be the best thing that they continue to stay hot going near the playoffs, because they've both been hot for a while now, and you really don't see it last that long. But, I mean, for Hyannis, it's all on them. The fate is in your hands, really. I mean, you play Catuit 2 more times. Catuit's still a little bit far back from you. So, really, their fate is in their hands. I mean, you know Bourne. You're only 1 game out of Bourne. I mean, you don't play Bourne again, but if they can get back to a tie with Bourne and just keep fighting there, really – what they do now to this point is in their hands and how they finish the season, because you're going to play Falmouth, and while there is that quote-unquote curse that only one team in the Hyannis team of last year was able to break, you can't go in there betting your money on that.
And Gabe, you talk about Bourne and how we don't play any more games against them. That just makes that loss before the All-Star break that much more heartbreaking, as they were up 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning and they couldn't get it done after coming back in the 8th. I mean, the offense has been silent almost for the last week now. And that a very big loss to Bourne, and, a big loss off of a great start from Justin Lewis tonight. I mean, it seems like Hyannis is squandering these opportunities that are given to them to kind of take advantage of their future and move forward with it.
Yeah, I mean, you can go back, like I mentioned, to the 7-game losing streak. They had opportunities in that streak to win games, but they just were not able to do it. And partly it comes back to bite them. You win a couple of those games, you don't know where you stand. You don't know, do they continue to stay hot after winning a couple of those games? Do they not lose as many? It's all changed. I'm not trying to point at that one point of the season early on where everyone could struggle. You just don't know how it's going to turn out. But I think you would be foolish to not look back at that and question what would this be if that didn't happen.
Well, Hyannis, they drop a big one here at Judy Scarafile Field, a 7-3 loss against the Commodores, as they will head to Splain Field in Wareham tomorrow. A big game matchup, Alex House and Gunnar Leger, in what could be another important game in the standings for the Harbor Hawks. Again, a 7-3 loss at the hands of the Falmouth Commodores. Thank you for joining us. For Gabe Sustick, I'm Jack Keffer. 7 more games left to play. Be sure that you tune in to all of them, as down the stretch it will be a very exciting time for the Harbor Hawks faithful here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.